Yes. So, Christy, sometimes when we're just talking, some very interesting nuggets of information or insights come out. And then if we try to replicate it, it may not happen the same way. So, this is our first meeting, and I'm so glad we are doing this. And though it's not an official interview or anything of that sort, but I thought there would be something interesting that could be of use to you and me both. Okay, so please
Okay,
continue.
wonderful.
Yeah, please continue with what you were saying.
Okay, so there I was at the health and wellness resort in Arizona with my best friend who's from Kansas City. Um, and really had no expectations because I'd never heard of this before. And I did not believe that breathing a particular way could make any changes, except for maybe like reduce stress, because it just didn't make sense to me. So the instructor even said, she said, this is either going to be the longest class you ever taken or the shortest. And I had no idea. I said, oh my God, this is going to be the longest because I have such
Mm,
little patience that I
mm,
thought I'm going to sit here and be trying to think of how to escape the class without being noticed.
mm,
But I said, you know what? I'm going to just do what she says and go along with it. And literally within 5 minutes of breathing that way, she mentioned that you might get the sensation of tingling in your body. And it felt really different than anything I've ever experienced. So I said, oh, this is cool. I'm just going to keep doing it.
mm, mm,
And then boom, it was like, I remember feeling like I just shot through, shot out. I mean, I could feel the sensation of shooting out. I could feel electricity shoot out of my hands and my feet. And then all of a sudden, I'm in a completely different dimension. There was a
mm,
huge eyeball
mm.
just looking back at me.
Oh,
And yeah, and then there was like just designs all around it. And then I remember thinking, and pardon my French, but I remember thinking to myself, oh shit, I'm here again. Like I'd been there before. So that was a weird feeling to look back on and remember saying, oh shit, I'm here again. And then and then all of this information starts coming to me about, because I'm always curious, about everything, especially somebody that follows like quantum physics and all these things. There's so many things about the universe that I'm curious about, and it was just like coming at me, answer, 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 and it was so beautiful where you're thinking, oh my God, this is absolutely brilliant, like the greatest, most genius mind of the world that created this. And it was so loving and so funny. I remember thinking, this is so, like, the way that the universe is designed is so beautiful and brilliant, but it's also funny and clever. And
mm,
and I did not know that I was laying in a breathwork class, but my best friend
mm,
said that my whole body was shaking and
mm,
that I was laughing and crying. I don't remember
mm,
any of this because I did not know that I was in. And then I remember saying, thank you for letting me remember. And then telepathically, it says, do you want to learn more? And I said, yes, like this is
mm,
amazing. Like I already feel like I've discovered the universe, and yes, I'd love to learn more, but then I was going to have to die, and I did not want to die. And I said, no, I don't want to die. And it told me like my life is just an illusion. And I said, like, I don't care. I like the illusion. And I thought of my mom and my dad. They're my best friends in the universe. I love them so much. And it said, well, you are your mom. You are your dad. You
mm,
are
nice.
your best friend. That also scared me,
Mm,
actually, because then all of a sudden, even though it was so beautiful, I felt alone. Like, okay, wait a second, I'm everything. Then there's nobody else. Now I felt kind of alone. I
mm,
didn't like the feeling. And so
mm,
I said, I don't like this. I want back. I didn't
mhm,
explain all of
mm,
this in my video, but then I shot back into my body.
mm,
I was so disoriented. I still thought that when I
mm,
shot back, I was in that other dimension.
mm,
So I sat up and the instructor touched my arm and she said, are you okay? And I said, yes, but I'm leaving. And I mean, the room is all dark. Everybody's breathing. This happened in like the first 10 or 15 minutes of the class. I had this huge experience, but I was so scared because I didn't want to die. I grabbed my stuff and I walked out the door. I thought that there was going to be a monster outside the doors to eat me. I thought I was gonna die, you know? And so I walked out there and the breeze hit me, which kind of brought me back a little bit. And I had my phone in my hand, so I called my parents, and just hearing their voices and talking to them about what I just experienced helped me kind of come back. And then I waited until the class was over, about 30 more minutes. And I tried to explain to the instructor what happened to me. And she looked at me like I was crazy and she didn't even respond. So that made me feel weird. And then I went to lunch with my best friend trying to explain to her what had happened. And she's a very hardcore Christian. So the idea that I was saying, oh my gosh, it was saying that I'm you and you're me and we're everything, we're even God. And she did not, she was like, this is not right. So I went back to the resort hotel room that we were staying in. I got online and I started looking things up. Well, I went home, and a couple days later in the morning, this happened to me on 2 occasions within a few days of each other. It started happening to me again where I wasn't even doing the breath work. It just, boom, it starts happening to me and I start going into the like the melting with universal consciousness where, but it was scary and I did not like it because I felt like all of a sudden I'm becoming everything and I did not want it. So I got on my hands and knees. I do pray, but never on my hands and knees. But I was so scared that I just wanted it to stop. And I said, please, God, I get it. We're all one. I don't like this. It's scaring me. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe and I felt like I was about to die. So, so then I really did online research because I thought, oh my God, have I opened up some portal to another world? What's happening to me? I was so scared. And I found Stan Groff, who started the holotropic breath work. And it taught about the psychology behind it. It's taught about spiritual emergencies. It taught about all of the things that can be happening. And so I took all of the online courses. It took me about a week to get through. I read several of his books. Well, I got the books and I listened to audiobook because I'm not a very good reader, but it helped out a lot because I was so scared and it really helped make sense of what was going on. And then then it piqued my curiosity and I wanted to learn more. So I hired a film crew and breathwork instructors that I reached out to. I hired one in particular. I didn't realize that breathwork instructors are on different levels. And the one that I had hired, yeah. So the one that I hired had no clue. I went out to South America. I got a beautiful Airbnb out in nature because I heard that it's important to be surrounded by nature to help with grounding and things. So I did these things, but the breathwork instructor and it was not a good experience, but he introduced me to some other good people while I was there. And I was able to get in touch finally with the Groff Legacy group, which they do extensive training, and I was able to have some more powerful experiences. But I've never worked with anybody that was able to identify this as a Kundalini awakening or anything like that, which is now what I've read about online. I found that it sounds the most like my experience, but I haven't worked with anybody that knew anything about that yet. And now I am getting ready on Friday. I'm flying to Florida to spend 2 days with my family, and then I'm going down to South America again for a month just to do the breath work on my own. And then I was gonna go over to uh, the UK. There is a person called Rupert Spira. Have you ever heard of him?
Yes. Yes.
who specializes in consciousness, and he's doing a 7-day retreat. So I wanted to join that. And I even thought, since I'm all the way over there, if there's like if there's something going on in India that you would recommend, I've always wanted to go there. So I would love to go. But that's basically where I'm at in my journey. And now please tell me everything about you.
Mm. So before I talk about me, I think I'd like to discuss what you spoke about. So this
Okay.
experience, Kundalini experience actually is pretty close, which is what it really is. And what is Kundalini? What do you understand about Kundalini?
What I've read is that basically it's this coiled snake, they call it, but it's really energy inside your body that rises up the chakras. I don't really know anything more than that, just what I've read
Mm,
online.
It's fairly true, fairly close. So Kundalini is basically potential energy. See, when a child is born, he's natural with his breath work, or not with his breath work, but his breathing. He's breathing naturally, and stuff is happening. His body is growing in every way, his mind, his faculties, everything about him is growing. He's absorbing so much. 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, and suddenly there's this rush of energy, and this awakens in him interest in sexuality. Boys become interested in girls, girls become interested in boys, because the Kundalini energy which had collected at the Mooladhara is now filled and it's rising. So the
Okay.
first chakra then is the Swadhisthana chakra, which is connected with awareness of sexes and so on and so forth. Hormonal changes happen. All the chakras are connected with the endocrine system. There are different emotions, there are different hormones that are released in these different chakras and so on.
Oh,
But
wow.
as energy comes to the first chakra or the second chakra, the Swadhisthana, sacral chakra in English, interest in sexuality and so on begins to grow. And of course, there are changes, like a woman or a girl starts to grow breasts, a boy's voice starts to crack, and so on and so forth. Stuff starts happening. In India, in the past, we used to have a practice called brahmacharya, which is basically celibacy, which means, a young boy or a girl would not waste this energy or allow this energy to be leaked. They would simply let it be. They would focus on their studies and skills and learning and whatever else they needed to do in life, but they would not leak this energy. This energy would grow, and then as it grew, it would come to the next chakra, which is the Manipura, or the solar plexus. This is where one becomes interested in society, his place in society, his influence in society, his interactions with society, and so on and so forth, because the energy has raised consciousness or changed consciousness to that extent. Here again, if it's not leaked, how is energy leaked here? If somebody becomes obsessive about power for himself, influence over
Oh,
others, trying to dominate over others, this is negative. Just as in the chakra before that, in the sacral, if one becomes overly interested in sex and sexual pleasure, etc., this energy is leaked away.
okay.
Similarly, in the Manipura, this energy is leaked away by trying to gain power, influence, etc., over others rather than over oneself. And then to become an instrument of good for society in general. If this energy is used well, it continues to grow. It comes to the Anahata, the heart chakra, love, compassion, acceptance. You begin to accept everybody almost like family. So this is how chakras are influenced by the movement of energy.
Okay.
Unfortunately, and so on, it goes on. When it comes to the Vishuddhi, it's about, or the throat chakra, it's about expression. So one can be very artistic, one can be very creative, and so on and so forth. Similarly, this energy, when it comes to the Agya, or the third eye, clarity, insights, deeper understanding, seeing things clearly, all this starts happening, and it happens automatically because energy is activating these chakras. At the Sahasra, at the crown chakra, It's the sense of oneness, which is what you experienced. This oneness, but yours was a one-off experience, which is good, great, wonderful thing. But at least you've seen something. Now, there is a channel through which this energy moves, and it's in Sanskrit or in Indian languages, it's called the Sushumna. In
Okay.
English, we have a similar thing. It's called the vagus nerve, somewhat
Okay.
similar. Energy moves up the Sushumna. If the Sushumna is blocked, if energy is used, abused, karma, desire, this can trap this energy in the lower chakras. But if the Sushumna is cleansed and cleared and so on, energy finds a pathway to the higher and still higher levels of consciousness. In India, we have a very clear concept of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva means consciousness, Shakti means energy.
Okay.
When these two are present, life happens. If either of them leaves or is not available, that's the end of life.
Okay. Shiva and Shakti.
Yeah, Shiva and Shakti. So they look at it religiously as well, but then there are deeper aspects to it in spirituality and so on. So people who've gone deeper have understood that Shiva and Shakti, that's all there is to it. Shiva is consciousness, Shakti is energy. Human beings are probably the only creatures, I correct myself, not probably, are the only creatures who have the means, who have the wherewithal to consciously change their consciousness.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Consciously, yes, consciously
Yeah.
move their energy higher
Wow.
so that
That's
their
very,
consciousness evolves, changes. It can happen in other creatures automatically or because of XYZ, past life, etc., etc. In India, we have this concept of rebirth and continuation of life because the soul is not is believed to never die. The soul always is. And what
right.
is this soul? So what is this soul?
What is the soul? Soul is everything.
Okay, this soul is actually no different from the maker.
Okay.
So in that sense is the presence of the maker in a human body.
Right.
However, because of a life or a living things experiences, interests, desires, acts, karma, certain propensities are added to that soul, like a like clothes, clothes that we wear. And that is what directs a soul to be or to want to experience and so on and so forth, until such time as all of this falls away. In that sense, then the soul can unite with the super soul. Atma, Paramatma can unite. So this is the basic thing as far as this aspect of yoga or this aspect of spirituality is concerned. Again, very brief. There are many nuances to it, but we can't go very, very deep into that. So understand that as a human being, you have the ability to consciously move your energy higher and still higher and still higher. Notice one more thing. When energy is in the lower levels of consciousness, one needs to struggle, one needs to work very hard, even to survive. But as this consciousness evolves, as this consciousness or higher consciousness becomes active and available, it's almost as if just willing something gets things done.
Oh, that's nice. I have a question for you. Because when I was there and it was so beautiful and it was so amazing and I was so just excited seeing how everything was woven together. Like I always believed, people talk about destiny or synchronicity, and I was always just a hardcore math person. Like, no, it's just one in a million. One in a million happens, right? But when I was there in that place, I saw that everything is connected, and that every even little things that happen have a reason and a purpose, and it was so beautiful, and I loved it so much. I just was so excited to learn and see these things, but I didn't want to die to learn more. And when it came back for me a couple of times, and it was so scary, I literally, my heart was beating so hard and I could barely breathe. And even my vision was impaired. It was like I felt like I was getting sucked into a black hole almost, like, it was very like, it was overwhelming, and, how could I go through that experience and evolve myself where I'm okay with that unity feeling and I'm not so scared of it, and it's not so it's terribly terrifying for me. I get very, very scared.
It was scary because it's an unknown thing. Because it's unknown, and you obviously correlated with your other experiences, it was scary because something that you've never experienced before is something totally unknown, it's something totally new, and you don't know where it could lead. So there's that sense of fear.
Okay.
It is the sense of fear that pulled you back. If you didn't have the sense of fear, this experience may have lasted. So in the different chakras, there are different emotions. That's why the endocrine system, in the lower chakras, you have emotions like guilt, fear, insecurity, and stuff like this. In the higher chakras, you have the sense of oneness, the sense of compassion, creativity, trust, love, and it's all there. It's all aligned along your spine. All these chakras are aligned along your spine. And if you live your life in a certain way and direct your life energies in a certain way, see, you can see human beings are that are worse than demons.
Oh, wow.
And you can see human beings that are almost godlike, almost.
Right, right. Sure, sure.
So what is God?
Everything.
See, we ascribe certain qualities to God or godliness. We think he's
Oh,
omnipotent,
like
he's,
love,
yeah,
right?
Allah. He's omnipotent, he's omniscient, he knows everything, and so on, right? There are people who actually touch some kind of knowing, some kind of power. They will something, it gets done. Not
Right.
necessarily immediately. It can take X time as we see it, but again, time and space are a different concept, which your interest in quantum physics and mechanics, etc., will clarify for you a little more. I'm not
Yeah.
as involved in these subjects, so my understanding is definitely
But you know what I
limited.
think? I really
Mm.
feel like the India's knowledge of Shiva and Shakti and all of these things is really what quantum physics is figuring out
There
now.
you go.
It's just
There you go.
it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's wild. It
yeah.
makes me wonder, like, how did they come up with this? How did they know this?
Again, very interesting question. When you understand that everything is one, just as there are an estimated 50 trillion cells in your body, every single cell in your body has all the information that's there about you. What
Wow,
you
that's
look
wild.
like, what your eyes are, what your hands are, that you are a human being, you're not an animal, you're not a dog, you're not an ant. And if it's reproduced, a being like Christi will be there.
Like fractals.
Fractals. So we are part of this whole, and there are things, or the potential for the whole to exist here exists equally strongly or as much as it does in your genes or as it does in your cells. Just as all the genes, or basically whatever you and your ancestors may have been, are there in that genes, are those in those genes and that gene. So that whole thing is there.
It's
Now,
amazing.
it's amazing. And now, what used to happen in the past? because they were able to channel that energy higher and higher and higher and keep it in this more or less, or make this easily accessible, spend periods of time, in that level of in that level of consciousness. They just knew. Knowing happened.
Oh, makes sense.
Just as you may have heard stories about certain musicians or certain scientists who are dealing with, who are grappling with some problem, scientific problem perhaps, and then they suddenly dream a solution.
Einstein said that he
There we
felt
go.
like his stuff came to him. Yeah, that's
There you go.
amazing. That's wonderful.
And something similar happened to many musicians, great composers, and so on, right? They
Yeah,
would
that makes
dream that music, and the next day they would write that music, and it would turn out to be just amazing.
do you pronounce your name Rajesh? How do you say your name?
Rajesh.
Rajesh.
Rajesh, yes.
Rajesh.
Rajesh,
Okay,
yes.
Rajesh.
Christi, Christi.
Tell me all about you. What's your journey been?
Okay. So, just like anybody else, went through life in my haze, in my darkness, I should say, perhaps. But since childhood, there was some kind of a connection with meditation and pranayam, breathwork, and so on, off and on, off and on. Sometimes lots, sometimes less. And then some years ago, because of circumstances, I found myself in China, where I was teaching English at a university, and uh,
Wow.
and I had a lot of free time available because as a university teacher in China, I had about 16, 18 classes per week, so that gave me a lot of time. And I had gone to China in trying circumstances personally, and there was a lot of stress that had built into my system and so on. My pressure had started going up, and all so many different kinds of issues. I used to be a very heavy smoker then, and I smoked for about 40 years. 20 of those I
Wow.
smoked 40 cigarettes a day. So I was
Oh my
causing
God.
myself, yes. So I was causing myself a lot of damage, including
Yeah.
a condition called COPD, chronic
Okay.
obstructive pulmonary disease. Quite a serious
Wow.
condition. And as a teacher, I needed to use my voice, naturally, because in
Sure.
China you have like large classrooms and 50, 60 students. Your voice much must carry to the far ends, and you should be heard. So I would do stuff, breath work, gargling, etc., to just keep this open
Yeah.
so I could do my job. So I was doing all of this stuff, and then belly breathing happened. I read about it. I came across some piece somewhere, and it just kind of gelled. I started trying belly breathing, and once I started trying belly breathing, I automatically, almost, I mean, I wasn't even aware. I just became a breath watcher,
A breath
which means
watcher?
which means almost constantly my attention was on my breath, or every once in a
Oh,
while, my attention would go to my breath. It started once in a while, and became twice in a while, and 10 times in a while, 100 times in a while. I mean,
yeah.
I just turned into a breath watcher, and it was nice. As a breath watcher, I found that my stress levels came down. So the hypertension medication that I started did not need to increase. Normally, that needs to increase almost immediately. So that was
Wow.
controlled. I didn't have to increase the dosage. Later, I gave it up totally. So now I'm on zero medication, no
That's
hypertension
amazing.
medication at all, just breath
Good.
work. But then other kinds of breath work techniques added along the way. I had a condition called ED, erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
But somehow I had a feeling that breath had an answer. So
Wow.
instead of looking here and there and trying different things, I was just working with my breath and seeing, what helped, in what way, and so on. And would you believe, over time, took a fair amount of time, I actually discovered certain techniques that helped me overcome erectile dysfunction.
That's a huge industry.
It's a huge industry, and here I actually teach this, and I teach this
That's
just with breath
amazing.
work. Nothing. No, one doesn't need to take off their clothes. One doesn't need to touch any body parts. One doesn't need to take any substances. Just some very simple exercises and breath work. That's it. And
Wow.
in about 4 or 5 weeks, people see very good results.
That's
I'll share some of the testimonials that participants have sent me. So this happened. COPD. I automatically started trying certain breathwork techniques, which kind of threw out the phlegm that was collecting in the body, which is what COPD
wow.
is. In
Yeah.
COPD, the body collects a lot of phlegm, and this phlegm interferes with the breathing and causes illness, tiredness, and all kinds of other nonsensical things that happen in the body. So COPD, I was able to start throwing out this phlegm, etc., etc., etc.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
And
healed yourself.
oh yes, I healed myself, and not
I
just with
love
COPD,
this.
not just COPD, ED, hypertension. Do you know what hemorrhoids are?
Yeah.
Because of stress,
Yeah.
etc., one
Of
starts
course.
bleeding through the ass, basically, like a
Yeah. It's happened to
lumps.
me.
Yeah. So breathwork cured that. Just breathwork
Wow.
cured that. Yes.
I love this.
Yes. Just breathwork cured this. Fibromyalgia. Do you know what fibromyalgia is?
I don't.
You have this strange kind of a nerve pain that runs from the shoulders along the back. Sometimes it moves and so on. Very, very painful. Sometimes once people can stay with this condition lifelong. Many
Wow.
people actually, you can do an online search, fibromyalgia,
Yeah,
Fibra.
I've heard of it before. I just didn't know what it was.
Okay, so fibromyalgia and something similar called sciatica, where
Oh,
the
I
pain runs.
my mom has sciatica.
Again, breathwork cures that as well.
Wow.
So today I think of breathwork as a multi-specialty hospital.
Love
I
this.
mean, it cures so many things, and I've gone through it, and I teach some of these techniques online mostly.
When my mom is coming with me to Colombia for the month, and she's going to be doing the breath work and stuff with me. She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so how about like I would love to buy your courses for
Mm-hmm.
helping with the breath work.
Mm-hmm.
Her specifically, I would love to help her with the sciatic because she never complains about anything, nothing. And she doesn't even
Wow.
complain about it, but I can tell she's in pain. And
And
I
how old
love
is
her so
she?
much. She's
How old is she?
73. 73.
73.
But
Okay,
she
we can
gets
get
around
it
like
started.
she's a very busy person. She's never just sitting down. She's always cleaning something. She's amazing. If I could help her with this, it would make me feel so good.
Definitely, definitely, Christy. We'll work it out. We'll discuss this and then discuss how to deliver it in the sense, how many times a week, what time,
Yeah,
because
I love
you're
this.
yeah, sure, sure. I'll share this with her, not an issue at all. And many other small and big things in digestion, like people have issues with their
Gut,
digestion,
me,
and
I
gut
do.
issues.
So, okay, so how about I want to do the
Breath
gut
work.
for me and the fire?
We'll do it together. We'll do the program so
Yay!
you gain from this aspect, your mother gains from the sciatica aspect,
I
and we
am
can
so
combine the program.
excited.
Yeah, we
I'm
can
so
combine the
happy.
program. Not at all. I'm so
Right.
glad I can do that. Yeah. So there are so many different conditions where breath work helps. Amazingly, about a year ago from today, uh, see, since I do breath work, and much of my breath work was connected with ED, erectile dysfunction, and
Yep.
there are similar cases, or there are similar issues that affect women with clitoral dysfunction, or FSAD, female sexual arousal dysfunction.
Okay.
See, sex is not a bad thing. Sexual energy is not a bad thing. Problem is when we become too fixated, when we become obsessive about it, when we overdo it, when we are stuck in that, then it could be a problem. But
Okay.
energy should be there, like we were discussing earlier. When this energy grows at the swadhisthana, at the sacral chakra, it first expresses itself as sexual energy. So it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Why do men suffer from ED or women from FSAD? Because something gets blocked in the system. I'll tell you something very interesting, Christy, you may have never heard. The
What?
body is, we are 70% water.
Yes.
We are 70% liquid.
Yes.
But this 70% liquid is not just blood. Blood is not the only liquid. There are many other liquids, right? So we have a system. What's it called? The one that helps us with our immunity and healing and so on. What's it called? Uh,
Uh, your
this word always slips my mind for some reason. 1 second, I just get to it. So anyway, different system, digestive system, reproductive system, endocrine system, and so on and so forth. Systems in the body. I don't know why this word always escapes my memory.
I know what you're talking about. It's like what you eat blueberries to help with
Lymphatic,
your
lymphatic
oh,
system.
lymphatic. Okay,
Yeah.
lymphatic.
Which is actually a very, very powerful system, because that is what keeps the body fighting, any kind of intrusions or illnesses, diseases, etc.
Yeah,
The lymphatic system also has a lot of fluids, and then of course the immune system, urinary system, and
that's
so
what
on.
I was thinking. You meant immune system.
Yes. So there are so
Yeah.
many different systems, and the all these systems have liquids moving through them.
Okay.
For your cardiovascular system, which is blood, we have a couple of liters of blood in the body. We have a beautiful thing called a heart, which pumps, 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 and it pumps endlessly, day in and day out, night in and night out. All the time, it's pumping, 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 moving the blood around. But what about your lymphatic system? How much pumping can the heart do for the lymphatic system or the endocrine system or the other system, the digestive system, the reproductive system? How much pumping can the heart do? And it's not directly connected with these systems, so it can't directly impact these systems the way it impacts the cardiovascular system. Your belly, dear Christy, there is a very strong muscle just below the lungs here, and it's called the diaphragm.
Yeah.
This diaphragm, when it relaxes, it pushes outwards, and when it moves in and collapses the lungs, so the air is pushed out of the lungs. But most of the time, there is so much stiffness in the body, there is so much tension in the body, that all these systems begin to get clogged up, blocked. When these
Okay.
systems begin to get blocked for whatever reason, any of these systems, or more than one or two or three systems, that means whatever these systems are carrying to different parts of the body is not reaching there, and what needs to be thrown out is not getting thrown out. And it's such a simple thing. Your breath work is the one thing that can get all these systems working.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. That is what makes breathwork a super specialty hospital or
Yeah.
super multi-specialty hospital, because it can get all these systems to start functioning better. So the first thing is, see, notice one thing, that experience that you had, your Kundalini experience, at that moment you were in a state of ease.
Oh yeah.
If there was any tension in your body, I can guarantee you that would not have happened.
Okay. That's interesting.
You were in a very deep state of ease for whatever reason.
Probably because I'd been getting spa treatments for a couple of days. I was just getting
Possibly, possibly.
massages and facials.
Yes, 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 possible. Yes, absolutely. So you were in that state of great ease. And then when you went to this breathwork session, see, this experience didn't happen to all the other participants. It happened to you.
Yeah.
And even the instructor thought you were crazy or something,
Yeah.
or whatever, right?
She
So
did. She
you,
just looked at me like I was nuts.
so Christy, this being at ease, this is what happens when we sit in meditation, for example. We automatically come to a level of ease.
Okay.
When we come to this level of ease, all these systems start functioning better. The movement starts happening better. The fluid in the sushumna starts moving higher, moves. Have you seen trees? Have you seen coconut trees?
I- No, not really. I mean, I have a few times, but
You know what coconut trees are?
yeah. Yes.
Narrow, tall trees.
Yes.
And where the boughs are, where the leaves are,
Yeah.
you've got these chunks of beautifully green packed things filled with
Okay.
a liter or half a liter of water. Beautiful water.
Yes.
And if you
Delicious
stand,
water.
yeah, delicious water. And if you stand next to a coconut tree, you will not hear any pump at all. There is no pump that goes whir, 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 lifting the water. And it's lifting dozens of liters of it. So this movement, scientists call this osmosis. If scientists understand its osmosis and it's so easy, why can't they create osmosis and lift all our water to the top floor so that there is a flow of water everywhere? Why do we need pumps then? Why not just
Oh,
create this osmotic system?
yeah, that's interesting.
This this system works beautifully because the trees are at ease. The trees are in a beautiful state of ease, trust, relaxation, just as we are when we are in a meditative state. It is in these states that our energy, all the fluids that this energy moves upwards, begin to go to higher and higher chakras. That is where consciousness begins to change, evolve, and so on and so forth. So these are very beautifully connected. Learning to be at ease. What do our the hobbies, etc., that we practice? Going out in nature, uh, listening to music, painting, all of these things. The one thing they all have in common is they bring you to a level of ease. Meditation, yoga, exercise, they bring you to a level of ease, not the kind of stuff that happens in gyms. There's too much of pumping of iron, there is too much of competition, there's too much of all those negative things that act, and so people collapse in in gyms. They're doing their
Right.
gym, and then they just collapse and so on. So this learning to be in a state of ease, and breathwork helps with this immensely.
Yes.
So when you start combining breath work, meditation, yoga, you are allowing your system to come to a state of greater and greater and greater state of ease, where all the flows begin to happen well. When the flows begin to happen well, whatever is needed by the different organs, different areas of your body reaches very easily. Whatever needs to be thrown out is thrown out with greater ease. And that's where the magic is. It's not any mumbo jumbo or anything of that sort.
Yeah. No, I can tell. I was absolutely amazed. I know that even like the breathwork instructor I told you that just what he just wasn't aware of all of these things that you're saying and being able to help on that level. However, being able to focus just on breathing really, I noticed, helped me with meditation, and I was never able to meditate before. I used to
Mm,
play, go to a tennis coach just to hit the ball back and forth so that my mind would think about nothing but the ball, which was my
mm,
closest thing to meditation. And
mm,
now because of the breathing and focusing on my breathing, it was very relaxing and I was
mm,
able to
mm.
meditate and I loved it because I would get all sorts of like beautiful visuals and just was very calm and peaceful. It was beautiful. So for that
Mm.
reason, I was very happy, to learn about it.
That's right. And what happens when the mind is overworking?
What
Why is
hap
the yeah, why is the mind working so much? Not a pleasant thing.
right. And then if our mind's working all the time, the water can't rise because we're not in a relaxed state.
Yes, but the real thing that's happening is emotions and mind are closely intertwined.
Okay.
As long as emotions are throwing up feelings, these are mind is or brain is converting these into thought, and so there is a stream of thoughts that goes on and on and on and on endlessly, and we are just drowning in this, all these thoughts, etc., without really understanding what these thoughts are all about. We are thinking all the time, but we don't know what we are thinking or why we are thinking. And thinking is such a powerful thing. Thinking
Right.
is such a creative thing. It's an empowering thing if we think, but we are not thinking. We call it thinking. We are not thinking. There is just garbage that's floating through the mind. That's it. And it's triggered by all these emotions that are stored in the different chakras. So when you start doing the breath work, all these stored emotions, etc., they start coming to the surface. Not easy to deal with, but you have to deal with them to get them out of the way. So any pending work, any pending karmas, etc., they are stored in these chakras. They need to be dealt with conscious awareness. That's it, and it gets out of
I
the
love
way.
it. Yeah,
And
it's
then
amazing.
and yeah, and then you start becoming meditative. You don't have to meditate. You become meditative.
Amazing.
Yeah. So this is the power of breath work and how it can help you. So now,
Yeah.
one more thing,
Okay.
chanting.
Yes.
Certain sounds are also very closely connected with our endocrine system, with our chakras.
Okay.
So when you make certain sounds, they have an impact on all this whole system, just as music impacts our system. There is music that can excite us, there is music that can calm us, relax us, there's music that can arouse us, and so on.
Okay.
So words or sound does the same thing to us. So when you combine breath work with chanting, you have
Yeah.
an immensely powerful tool in your hands.
I'm excited to try it.
Sure, sure, Christy. Yes. So
Good deal.
you do this part of the training, with your mind and your meditation, and you mentioned one more thing, relaxation, right? Oh, no,
Oh,
indigestion
so
and
no, so
hemorrhoids.
for me, I have not indigestion. I have gut, so digestion.
Yeah.
Digestion.
So digestion
Yeah.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah. My gut. Yeah. So I'm also excited because I'm like I put together a completely plant-based, very nutrient rich menu for us to be having. So the whole month that we're down there, we're just eating plant-based, organic food. So that should help out.
Oh,
So
yes,
doing
it'll
the
help.
breath work with
But
that should help out.
keep the system relaxed,
Okay.
especially this belly area. Most of the organs are located in this area.
Yeah.
So start with belly breathing. I'll send you my belly breathing video. It's a bilingual video. So there is a bit of Hindi, there's a bit of English. I'm sure you'll be able to navigate it. You're a smart
Okay.
woman and you understand a fair bit. So I'm sure you'll understand. And if there is something that needs filling in, I'm always there. You can always question me and I'll be glad to answer. So I'll send you this video. I'll also send you a link to my website and
Yes.
the place where some of those testimonials are, and so on. And
Yeah,
we'll work.
could you recommend like a certain program that we could do with you? My mom, even my sister's coming down for a week of it. So I have different people coming at different times, but mostly it would just be me, and my mom. Sometimes my sister will join for a week when
Okay.
she's there. But do you want to put together like a program that we do with you?
I can put together a very powerful program,
Awesome.
but a very expensive program. Is that
How
okay with
much is
you?
very expensive?
So if you and your mom join, we'll
Yeah.
give you a 25% discount,
Okay.
which will come to, in Indian rupees, it's 1 lakh rupees, which is about 1800, no, about 1200 US dollars.
For how
So
many sessions?
about 25 sessions.
Okay,
But you'll you'll get the range of breathwork techniques that I share.
perfect.
Whole range of breathwork techniques.
Okay, let's
So,
do it.
so if you and your mother both do it, I'll give you a 25% discount, which means
Awesome.
yeah, so which means about $2,000 basically for both of you combined together,
Okay,
more
okay,
or less, whatever. And I'll give you flexi time. So we can kind of rearrange the schedule everyone's. We'll have a basic schedule that we've agreed upon, but if you need to change one class or not make it for one class or one session, we'll make it up in the next day or whatever, that sort of a thing. If you like, we'll put together something like that for you.
let's do it. Let's put something together. So,
Right.
I will be there, in Colombia where we can focus on this. Let's
Mm.
see. January 17th, we could start if you have the availability.
Yes.
And
What is the timing that would suit you? What is a good time for you?
well, so because you said so yeah, you're 22 hours difference, right? The
No, no,
nice
no,
thing
no, no,
is,
no, 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 no. That's not what I said.
oh,
That's not what I said. What I said was yesterday we were speaking at my time, 9 o'clock. So I said, let's do it at 7 o'clock, which is 22 hours from now. That's the point I was trying to make.
okay, so yeah, but so okay. Oh, I see, I see. Okay, so
Hmm.
I'm gonna be in South America, so it's Central Time, which is nice because like right now, when we got on the call, it's 5:30 in the morning here on the West Coast. But when I'm in Colombia, it's 2 hours difference. So my 5:30, so that'd be 7:30 in the morning.
So it's
7:30 in the
about
morning.
7:30 in the morning. It's about 7:30 in the morning for you when it's 5:30 here in America, right?
Yes, or what? Yeah, for well, on in Las Vegas where I am. Yes, my mom is in
Okay.
Florida, so it's 3 hours. But yeah,
So
so
supposing we schedule for today we started our session or our meeting at 7 o'clock, my time.
7
Supposing we
o'clock
do,
your time.
yeah. So supposing we do 2 hours before this, which is 5
Yeah.
p.m. my time, which would be about
Oh,
similar to,
two
I
hours.
guess, about 5:30 or so in South America when you are there.
Yeah. So, but oh, 5:30 a.m. I think that might
Yes.
be yeah, that might be
Okay.
too early for everybody else. But I
Okay.
could maybe we do. Hold on maybe we do is 6:30. Maybe we
Okay.
do it at
Okay. We can do 6:30. Great.
6. Okay, so so how long does it last?
One session is almost an hour, about an hour.
Okay, so 6:30 to 7:30. Because
So there are certain rules for the session for the program, which means you have to give me regular reports and so on and so forth. I'll send it to you. I'll send you all the details for the program so that you
let
can
me ask
have
you
an
a quick
understanding.
question because
Yes.
I have a yoga instructor that's coming there and we're supposed to. I think we start at 7 in the morning, so maybe I'm just wondering, um, if is my what time I'm just so messed up with what time it is for you, but I'm wondering if maybe we did it later, but I need to figure out what time it is with you. So how many hours difference are you from me? What
Okay.
is your time?
So at the moment here in India, for example, it's
Yeah,
8 p.m.
it's
For you,
8
it's nine.
p.m.
Yeah. For you, it must be
Okay.
9:30. No, that's
So
Eastern time, is it?
it's 6:30 in the morning here right
It's
now.
6:30 in the morning for you. Okay.
So for you, it's 8:30?
No, it's 8. 8.
Wait, no. Well, no, it can't be 8.
It is 8 in the
It
evening. It's 8 in the
8:24.
evening. No, here it's no, no, that you're mixing up with the 22-hour that I mentioned yesterday. That 22-hour has nothing to do with the time difference.
8. Okay, so yeah, but right
And
now it's 6:30 in the morning. So it
and it's
must be
8
8:30.
it's 8 p.m. here. 8 p.m.
Okay. Okay, so then because if I'm in, if it would be, so it's 12 hours difference. So then, so, so 6:30. Sorry, this takes me a
No,
second.
I'll explain. I'll explain. It's 8 o'clock now for me, 8 o'clock in the evening. It will be 8 o'clock in the evening for you, 12 and 1.5, 13 and a half hours later.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on.
So
What is the
from
name of the city? What is the name of the city that you're in India?
I'm in a city called Kolkata, but we have only one time in all of India, so that doesn't matter.
Oh,
So we are
okay.
lucky
Okay,
that
so
way. So we are lucky that way. We
uh,
have only one time.
that's
In the
nice.
US, we have many time zones, Pacific time and Eastern time and Mountain time and God knows what all, right?
Okay, so
Uh,
yeah, that's so
mm,
interesting. Okay,
mm.
so you guys are like in okay, so it's 8 p.m. for you. So then
If you want to do in the evenings for you,
yeah, so or I'm just you know what, maybe I just ask you later because I need to look
mm,
at the schedule because we have like a day. So I'm trying to figure, I want to make it very convenient for you. What is the best time frame for you?
So I two time slots work very well for me. One is in the
Okay,
afternoon, 4, 5, 6 p.m.
okay,
And one is
and
in the morning. Yeah, one is in the
okay,
morning, 6, 7, 8, 9, thereabouts. Or actually
okay.
6 or 7, and then 11, 11 or so.
Wait, okay, so 4 to 6 p.m. is ideal, and what
Yeah,
else?
4 to 6. And 6 to 8, 6 to 7, let's say 6 to 7,
Okay,
and then 10, 11, 10, 11 a.m.
yeah, okay, perfect. I'll
So you
look
can
at
work it
that
out.
and then,
Okay.
yeah, and I'll work it out. Okay,
And
perfect.
when would you like to make your video? You forgot about that.
Uh, yeah, no, I would love to do that right away. Let's say, let's see, because I'm traveling tomorrow to Florida. Then I get down there. You know what? The first week that I'm there would be perfect. So like the 17th, 18th, 19th, any of those days would be perfect for me.
So we start around that time with your video and the course and the
Yeah,
Swatantra
why don't
course
we
as
do
well.
this? I'll pay for the courses. Let's do like a couple of courses and then we'll do the interview. That way I could speak
Okay,
to.
even better, even better. Yes, why not? Why not? So you and your mother
Wonderful.
are joining, and the final times will be decided after a while. I'll send you all the details. You have to start belly breathing and uh, becoming more and more friendly with your belly and your
Okay.
belly breathing.
Okay.
And also your mother. Please help your mother also with that. Uh,
Yeah.
Your mother is 73. The first thing we are going to do is get her energy moving, create more because she's older, her Kundalini energy would be depleted. So we are going to
Okay.
start building her Kundalini energy. Your Kundalini energy must be strong, I imagine, right?
Okay.
I don't think you have
I
any
don't know.
issues. Anyway,
No, I know.
we'll work with that. And you'll see how it goes then. It's going to be
Okay.
a long
I'm
program.
excited.
So am I. It's going to be a long program and a very demanding program because what I teach one day, you need to practice on your own the next few days.
Okay.
After that, I add something more to it. Then you practice with what is added.
Okay.
Then I add something more, and then you practice with something more that is added. That is how the
Okay.
program is, yeah. Because we start with the simplest of breath work and we go to a fairly advanced kind of a package of breath work, which has an immense impact on the whole of you.
Okay. I'm really looking forward to it.
Great, Christy. So am I. So we
Hey,
start on, yes. Go ahead.
I was gonna, when will you think about like I said, I would love to visit India. So if what is something I should do when I come over there? Like what is there anything that you recommend? I've never been, I don't know anything about it. If you think of something you think that would be good, please let me know.
Let me start working with you. Let me understand where you are, what your energies are about,
Okay.
where you may be stuck, what you need, what you might need help with. If I get clarity on that, it'll be easier for me to suggest something to you. But once you are
Okay.
in India, I'll tell you the best thing you can do. Come with a sense of ease, explore different things, see or try a few things if you like, and see how they gel. Are they
Okay.
speaking to you within? Are they saying something? Are they saying something to you? Something to, for you to join with or practice. See, there is a path for everyone.
Sure.
Breathwork may be your path because of the experiences that you've shared and what you spoke about and so on. But breathwork is not a path for everyone. It's not
Okay.
an easy path. And in that sense, no path is easy in that sense. But breathwork
Okay.
is a very powerful path.
Yeah.
And you've experienced one part of it. But remember, it wasn't just the breathwork that did it, it was your own sense of ease which
Okay.
contributed.
Okay. Good to
And,
know. Good to
and this
know.
sense of ease is what we are going to grow because there is a very interesting part of the program which I call the lotus opening. Do you, do you know the lotus flower?
Yes, of course.
Lotus flower, I think your time is up. I think you need to do something else. I'm
No, no,
probably
I'm good. I'm
okay, okay,
good.
okay. Okay. So there is a program, or there's a part of the program called the Lotus Opening, which is about bringing all your systems inside to a greater sense of ease. You'll experience that.
I'm
But just,
excited.
just great, great. I hope your mother is excited as well.
She's so amazing. She's been so supportive, both her and my dad, of my whole process. And they
Mm,
love like learning what I'm learning. And she's so excited to
uh,
participate as well. They're amazing.
Wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'll send you all these details. Take a look. And if you have any
perfect.
questions, I'm always there. Belly breathing is
Great.
what you start with, and I'll share a bit of other information as well. By the way,
Thank you.
can you send me your WhatsApp number? It's easy to
Sure.
communicate
I'll do it
on
right now.
the. Great, great. Thank you. Have a
Perfect.
beautiful day. And
You as well. Bye-bye. Thank you
yeah,
so much for your
bye-bye.
time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great energy
Bye.
once again.
Thanks. You too.
Bye. Thanks.